Sap is Alice in Chains' second studio EP and the third major label release from the band, the first two being the We Die Young EP and Facelift. Sap was released on February 4th, 1992, and is notable for a variety of reasons. Unlike their previous two releases and their next release Dirt, the Sap EP is mostly an acoustic record. Sap tracks in at 20 minutes and 49 seconds, featuring 5 songs: Brother, Got Me Wrong, Right Turn, Am I Inside, and a hidden track, Love Song. Of these 5 songs, Brother is particularly noteworthy because Brother marks the very first time where Jerry Cantrell sings lead vocals on an officially released Alice in Chains song. As a matter of fact, Layne Staley encouraged Jerry Cantrell to sing lead vocals on Brother. The two of them both sing on that song. Another unique thing about this EP is that there are many notable guest singers on the record. Ann Wilson from Heart, Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, and Mark Arm from Mudhoney. As a matter of fact, Chris Cornell and Mark Arm both appear on the same song, Right Turn. Jerry Cantrell, Layne Staley, Chris Cornell, and Mark Arm all sing on that one song. As an homage to their band names Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and Mudhoney, they called themselves Alice Mudgarden. Alice Mudgarden actually became a short-lived side project. Going back to Alice in Chains, with regards to Love Song, the hidden track on the Sap EP, Jerry Cantrell described that song as, quote, the most bizarre song we've ever recorded. Members of the band all switched their instruments for the recording of that song. Layne Staley played drums, Jerry Cantrell played bass, Sean Kinney played piano, and Mike Starr played guitar. It was Sean Kinney's idea to get everyone to switch around their instruments. Despite the title of the track, Love Song, which at first glance may give off the impression it would be a softer song, Love Song is actually the heaviest song on the record, and its lyrics are anything but sweet and loving. The song was definitely made with a strong sense of sarcasm. As mentioned, the EP was released on February 4th, 1992. By January 14th, 1994, it had sold more than 500,000 copies and was certified gold. One of the notable things about this is that when the album was released, the band just had copies of the record put out in stores without any promotion or advertising. In Jerry Cantrell's words, the band released Sap, quote, without any fuss or fanfare so as the real Alice fans could find it, end quote. The EP was recorded a few months before its release in November of 1991 at London Bridge Studios in Seattle with producer Rick Parasher. After Alice in Chains' Facelift tour, the band had planned on recording Wood as part of the soundtrack for the movie's singles. While they were in the studio, however, they decided to take advantage of that opportunity, and they ended up demoing multiple songs. In Jerry Cantrell's words, in the session that was meant for the recording of that one song, Wood, we ended up demoing about 10 songs, which included all the stuff that ended up on the Sap EP, Rooster, and a couple of others from Dirt. The version of Rooster that was recorded during the Sap EP sessions was eventually released in 1999 as part of Alice in Chains' Music Bank box set. The band, however, did consider including that original version of Rooster on the Sap EP itself, but ultimately decided to save the song for their next full-length record, Dirt. The version of Rooster which appears on Dirt is not the version from the Sap EP sessions. The band re-recorded Rooster for the Dirt album. So, in other words, the version of Rooster which is famous is actually not the original studio recording of the song. Now, in terms of why the EP is called Sap, as the story goes, while the band were in the studio, Sean Kinney, Alice in Chains' drummer, had a dream about making an EP called Sap. The band went with it, and that's how the album was named. Keeping in character with Alice in Chains' other albums, the subject matter on much of Sap is very personal. With regards to the song Brother, Jerry Cantrell has said that the song is about his relationship with his younger brother, and in particular, it's about the point in Jerry's life after his parents divorced and his younger brother lived with his father, while he lived with his mother. Jerry has said that the song, quote, was a way of trying to build a bridge, end quote. Got Me Wrong is another song about personal relationships. In Jerry Cantrell's words, the song is about a relationship where one partner thinks he or she can change the other person. Now, interestingly, Sap was actually re-released on March 21st, 1995, more than 3 years after its original release on February 4th, 1992. It was re-released because one of the songs from the EP, Got Me Wrong, grew significantly in popularity after it was included on the soundtrack for the 1994 movie Clerks. In 1996, during Alice in Chains' MTV Unplugged performance, Brother and Got Me Wrong, both from the Sap EP, were included in their set. Considering that at the time of Sap's release, Alice in Chains were still a relatively new band, to me it shows a sense of bravery from the band that they put out this EP. I say this because coming off of the success of Facelift, which sonically is a very heavy record, it would have been reasonable to think that Alice in Chains' next release would have been a similar sounding record to Facelift. Typically, that's what happens in the music industry. When an artist has a successful release, Their next release usually sounds very similar, especially if it's a relatively new band that doesn't have a big discography to begin with. Despite this, however, Alice in Chains went in a different direction with Sap, which to me not only shows a sense of bravery from the band, but also a sense of artistic integrity in that they wrote the music they wanted to write, not necessarily what was expected from them to write. All in all, the Sap EP holds a unique place in Alice in Chains' discography. Now, I want to show you guys a clip from my interview with Jonathan Plum, an engineer who worked with Alice in Chains during various sessions, including part of the Sap sessions. In this clip, he shares some memories of Layne Staley from the Sap sessions.
A really big impression on me of working with Alice was we were working on Sap, and Sap was filled with a lot of more ballads. Because I knew Alice in Chains from Facelift, which was the rock record.
Yeah.
And so they're back here doing Sap, and a lot of the songs, the first few songs I worked on with them were more the ballads. And I remember we were having to do a lot of takes over and over, and I remember asking Rick, again, Rick Brosher was producing these sessions, and I remember asking Rick, like, wow, it takes him a lot of work to get these takes. And he's not even like shouting, he's singing softly. And Rick's like, yeah, singing softer is actually harder typically for singers. And to the screaming, the belting thing, like that's where Layne lives. Like that's really easy for him. We usually get that in one take. It's the singing soft part that takes a little more time. So at that point, I hadn't heard Layne scream, like his typical scream, but I really was excited to. And I don't know that we ever actually did any screaming vocals. I guess later we did actually. But on the Sap, when I came in, Sap was already mostly done. We were just finishing it up. But I remember Layne, again, was in the vocal booth, and he walked in the control room, and he was frustrated because he couldn't sing, and he just yelled, fuck, at the top of his lungs. But it was that Layne yell. And that was the first moment I heard Layne's voice, just not on mic, him just being frustrated, going, fuck. And I was like, whoa, that's the voice.
You should have recorded that, man. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. So that really, it just shook me, it was like rattled me to hear that voice in person in front of my face, and and I just love. I'm a huge Layne Staley fan. I just love his voice so much. So
yeah,
I'll always remember that moment. They would come and use the studio for long hours and really get to work. And I remember being really nervous around those guys because of how intense they worked. I kind of felt like compared to Pearl Jam, when Alice came in, it was just music work. There wasn't a lot of downtime. So I remember having to really be on my ball as an engineer. So yeah, my relationship with Alice in Chains, kind of the same thing with Pearl Jam, is that I was already, in fact, I had known of Alice in Chains longer than Pearl Jam, and I was a really huge fan of Alice in Chains as well.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you see, make sure to subscribe for more. All the videos on this channel are original. I'm the one conducting all the interviews and editing all the videos together, so if you guys like what you see and you want to support, the best way to do so is honestly just to subscribe. Lots more to come.